Neighbours, everybody needs good neighbours with a little understanding. You can find the perfect blend.
Because you've been playing Harold for such a long time, do you find that it's acting when you go in?
No,
and you perform?
not anymore. No, he takes over. The silly old fool takes over as soon as I walk in the studio. Or it's unfortunately come to the point where my costume wears me. I don't wear the costume. He was a fair bit of work to establish him in the beginning, but then he just became part of me. And I'm not saying he took over. That's a dangerous thing to happen to an actor, but he became easy to happen. He happens for me now. And if you said to me, be Harold now, I possibly couldn't do it. But if you put a script in front of me with Harold, I would become Harold immediately. Yes.
He's not always a particularly likeable character at times. No. What is it that makes you like him so much? I mean, do you like the character?
Yes, I do like him very much. He's a composite of two people in my early life. One that I didn't like at all, one man who I didn't like at all, one man I loved dearly, my father. And when you see Harold being nice and soft and cuddly, that's my father. When you see him being the other chap, that's the other chap. When you see him being not nice, that's the other chap. And I had a bit of difficulty sort of wedding the two together, you know, but it happened one day in one scene, and it was reasonably easy after that, and it became easier as the years went on.
Now, you disappeared for a little while in the storyline. What happened to you in those, was it 5 years you were supposed to be away for?
A little over 4. What do you mean, what happened to me or what happened to Harold?
What happened to you? And we'll get onto the other bit later.
Okay. What happened to me? Well, I just did what every other actor does. And that's, I worked all the other shows in Australia. I'm a writer as well. I wrote for many things. Yes. And just filled in time like that. And it was very good for me too. It was good for Harold too, I might add. Because when I came back, I discovered more things. It was good. It was a good experience.
It was a slightly unbelievable storyline.
No, how could you say? She's not well. She's not well. She's a sick woman.
The show's definitely got a bit racier in the last couple of years.
A little bit too racy for my thinking, and I think also the management are thinking the same thing as well, because it's sort of gone away a little bit from the family show, and that was its original contract, to be a family show, to let the kids watch a show without worrying about what they're seeing. I think it still remains that. If you want something else, look at some other soap, you know what I mean, or some other show. But I think it must get back to its original cause, its original contract. Otherwise, it ceases to be Neighbours, I think.
Did you ever think about making the switch to Home and Away?
No. Look, I'm one of those awful people who think that soap shouldn't exist. So that makes me the biggest hypocrite under the sun, doesn't it? Yes, it does. But I have always said, if we're going to make soap, let's try and make the best damn soap that we can. And that's what I've always tried to do. It's been hard sometimes. But yes, I mean, you do get some very funny stories, and it has been hard sometimes. And I have had my, desk thumping times up at the front office with the brass at Neighbours. And it's got me absolutely nowhere, but sometimes, yes, sometimes.
Do you not find that because you've been there so long, people should listen to you?
No, never done that. I've never done that. There are people who do it. But I always say to myself, move with the times, Ian, otherwise you end up being a stupid old fuddy-duddy, You end up being like Harold. So I don't want to do that.
Are there any characters in the show that you think Neighbours could do without?
Oh, yes, there are, but I'm not going to say who they are.
Can you tell us who your favourite characters are?
Oh, over the years?
Yeah.
Mostly the youngsters. I'm very fond. Oh, Joe Mangle. I thought Joe was wonderful. He epitomised the the country Australian. He really did. I mean, don't expect to come to Melbourne and see Joe Mangles walking up and down the street. You won't see them. They're very rare, but they do. They're sort of the essence of the Australian ochre. But mostly the youngsters, I think. A young fellow that played Tad, Jonathan Dutton. I thought he played a very good part. He played a good, strong part. I think now Eliza, who plays, she was the boxer and so forth. She's got the garage. What's her name? It doesn't matter. I think she's wonderful. She's a wonderful comedian. I think she's got a lovely sense of the dark humour. I think she's fantastic. She's a wonderful person as well. Gosh, over 21 years, there's been so many. Of course, Madge, my dear Madge, she was just wonderful, just wonderful. We had the best time working together because we trusted each other. We just knew what each other was going to do. We'd look at our scripts the night before, and I'd say, yeah, Madge, Anne's going to do that. And she said quite openly some time back that, yes, she knew exactly what I was going to do.
Do you keep in contact with the people that, leave the show?
The ones I like, yes, very much so, yes. And I'm pretty choosy who I like, but yes, the people I like.
Any word from Kylie?
I haven't seen her for such a long time because you never know where she's going to be. When we bump into each other, yes, we're good friends.
Talking about, going back before, you were talking about Joe, how he was like the typical Australian. Why do you think the show has such a big following in England and possibly more than in Australia?
If I knew that, I'd be a multi-millionaire. I can only imagine, I can only take a guess at it. I think it's because we portray that the sky is always blue. It isn't, I'm here to tell you. We have been up and down Ramsay Street when it's been freezing. I can't tell you how cold it's been. But we've got to wear the short sleeve shirt, all the summer gear.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
It's very
I really
much
appreciate it.
Very
and good luck with the rehearsals.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All come and see us. Okay, bye.
Everybody needs good neighbors.